Welcome to another episode of Growth Hacker TV. I'm Bronson Taylor, and today I have Neil Patel back with us. Neil, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. What number is this? You've been on two or three times? I can't even keep count anymore.
I think it's either two or three. It's one of those.
Yeah, no, well, you're somebody we love having here. You always have nothing but insights, and you're always doing new stuff. You're not doing the same thing you were doing a couple years ago. You're always evolving, learning, growing, trying, and that's why I love chatting with you because it just inspires me to like go do something, right? Where do you find time? I guess that's the first question.
Yeah, I don't know. I just work a lot of hours. But it's funny. I remember we partnered up on the growth hacking ebook, right?
Yeah, that's
Years
right.
ago.
Yeah.
And still as well. I was Googling growth hacking. I was like, oh, we're number one on Google.
It's crazy, right? I mean, what do you think that was? Was it just because we were so early? Do you think the content was good? Do you think it's luck? Like, what did we do right there? Because I'm not even totally sure.
Okay, I think the content's great. The design makes it wowing. So I bet you the time on site's high and the bounce rate's lower. The other thing I bet too is because my websites have so much domain authority, they naturally rank high on Google for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I can hear your phone buzzing there. Nonstop. People are trying to get Neil's attention.
It's not like it's so funny because I spend so much money on ads. Like, have you ever seen my Facebook ads
Oh, yeah.
or YouTube ads?
Yeah.
So they're like either my about video, like the team creates stuff. Like I just go in, I shoot, and I don't even know what the heck they're running or promoting, right? They just tell me what to say.
That's
Um,
funny.
and it's hilarious. Like I think I have like 800 and something thousand Facebook fans as we're recording this. Like the amount of messages I get on Facebook are ridiculous. We're spending right now 3 grand a day on YouTube ads, so we're trying to ramp that up. So my YouTube subscribers are also going up. But what's funny is I'm getting so many text messages and calls every day. Like the other day, I got a call from a lady, and she was just like, "Hey, is this Neil?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, hi, I found your number on Facebook. I just want to see if it was real." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." I didn't know what to say. I was like, yeah,
So,
it's real to me. She's like, oh, sounds good. Have a wonderful day. I was like, you too.
so
You know what I
you
mean?
put your phone number out there just like it's there?
It is. We're working on changing that. We'll probably do something like a Ring Central. I don't know what they're called, right? Where you
Yeah.
put an 800 number, and it'll be something like, if you have an appointment with Neil, click this button. Otherwise, click two, and it'll be an automated message that like, because we get so many inquiries, and then
Yeah.
even with WhatsApp, I still get so many messages a day. I yesterday just turned off the red receipts because people would get so upset at me for not responding, and I OCD, so I don't like the number showing, so
Hmm.
I need it unread. Or I mean, I need it read so the numbers aren't showing there. But it's funny, like advertising has been one of our biggest channels. We even do another thing on Instagram, and I think this is pretty scrappy, in which we pay models, both women, guys. We even pay like makeup artists, etc., to hold up a sign that says like, "Who is Neil Patel?" I'm assuming you haven't seen
No,
those
I
yet, right?
haven't. Not yet.
And that creates so much buzz. Like it's crazy, right?
That's funny.
So and that's been helping cause like crazy growth because it's so cheap. And the cool part about this is you're actually recording this, right?
I am
So
recording this.
I'll actually show you guys some cool stuff. I bet you no one probably does this on your podcast.
Very rarely. People don't screen share usually, afraid of what might pop up.
Yeah, so check this out. So let's see. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
And then check out these spikes that we're getting in brand queries. So brand queries is one of the main ways you get Google rankings. But you have to keep them and maintain them, or else your Google rankings just tank after a while.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at my name, Neil Patel, I put entrepreneur. Not enough data. Your search isn't this. Oh,
Oh,
there
there it
you
is.
go. I'm like, that's bullcrap. There's so much data. All right, so worldwide. And you can see these spikes, right?
Yeah, what is that?
So it's the brand queries of people searching for Neil Patel or who is Neil Patel, etc. And here's what I do a monthly basis over the last like 2004 to present. So however long that is, because I don't know when they started in 2000, January. All right. So if you think about it, over the last 12 to 13 years, because we're already in 2017, what ends up happening is like, look at these spikes. It's always out of 100. So if you get more press, it brings the other numbers down, but it's always a scale of 1 through 100.
Hmm.
So like look at before I started doing any brand queries. I started here, right here, this first spike. You see this? That's at
Yep.
18. So before I was like at a 10. After I stopped, more people kept searching for my name, right? So then 10, 12, 16, it kept going up. And then I did another huge campaign. See, before the campaign, I was at 20, did the campaigns 50, etc. And then when it
Uh-huh.
died down, I was at 24. 24 and 24, right, for the last 2 months is greater than 20, right?
Yeah.
That's a percent growth roughly, right? 4 out of 20 is roughly a 20% growth.
Yeah.
Then I started doing it again, and that was 100, right? And then it starts going on to 34. You see,
Yeah.
30,
And so this is
30.
through Instagram saying, who is Neil Patel on a sign, gets people interested. They're going to Google searching for your name. Is that what's happening here?
That's correct. And then I get more followers, and then what's happening is people are continuing to stick with me
Gotcha.
afterwards.
So they're
So I
they're finding out about
and
you and then getting into your universe because of their brand queries on Google, which eventually leads to you making money.
that's correct. Yeah.
So what happens? So find out who you are. Walk me through your business a little bit because I got the feeling you have so many things going on. Like, what do you want someone to do after they've Googled your name? Maybe they're following you on a couple social networks. Like, how do you actually monetize this brand query? Because I know that's a question people are going to have is like, yeah, so people know who you are now. So what? How do you pay the bills?
Would you all agree that emails are worth money?
Yes. How do you monetize emails? That's the question.
Yeah, I'll show you that in a bit. I'm logging into this stuff with anyone, but I don't care. I'm tired of doing boring interviews. Let's make them fun, and I
Right?
enjoy,
Right?
talking to you.
Yeah, and just so you guys know,
So,
like this isn't normal. People don't open up their Infusionsoft and like show you what is actually happening.
so in the last 30 days, I had 55,784 new contacts.
Crazy.
So I'm
And
using all these brand queries to capture signups. So ignore the audio. I'm gonna have to pause the video. Not this video, but the
yeah,
video on my page.
the auto start one, yeah.
So like someone will click this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So see this my homepage. Someone clicks this. They Google my name, etc. They join a webinar, and I'm getting their information.
Yeah. Now
And I have even
you
a little countdown clock, like as you can see, like when it's gonna start, etc.
yeah, now you're doing the evergreen webinars. Is that working for you? Like, do they actually convert, or do people just think, this is cheesy and he's not really here? You know what I mean?
It works.
It works.
So much
Are you
so
making
that
the are
right
you making
now
the sell on the webinar, or is it like eventually down the funnel you get them on something
on the webinar.
on the webinar?
Yeah, I'll break down the psychology behind it too if you want to see it.
Yeah, because I've actually been to neilpatel.com and like I studied, what you're doing, try to reverse engineer it, thought about it, and I was close to doing something like it, and so this would be helpful to see what's really going on here.
All right, so this is my presentation deck, right?
Hmm.
How I generate 195,013 visitors per month without spending a dime on ads, all right?
Hmm.
So then I go into, what the crazy part is, not only did I learn how to get the traffic, but once I did, I still failed. And then I learned one secret that helped me build 4 multi-million-dollar companies. So showing some vulnerability there. Then I go into who this is for. Then I go into what they're going to learn in the next 45 minutes. And then from there, I go into just a quick overview, like a paragraph of what you're going to end up learning once you're done with everything, the webinar right in the end. I'm also going to give you a bonus. This helps keep people for the end.
Hmm.
And then I just give general rules for the webinar, like if you expect to be an overnight success, etc. Don't waste your time. And then I go into like why I started doing all of this. My goal of being an entrepreneur was help out my parents, right? This is
Hmm.
me and my mama.
It says you have
And
180
it's
slides. Is that right?
yeah, 180 slides.
Good gosh!
So
You
then
work
I
through
go
all
to,
those in a webinar?
oh yeah, webinar is long. It's like almost 2 hours.
Oh my goodness!
And then I then go into like, if you learn everything, I'm going to teach you how to get traffic, right? And then I'm like, if you're looking for a quick hit, get rich quick. If you're just trying to make money, without doing work, like this isn't for you, right? Because I don't teach that shit.
Yeah.
And then I go into, have you ever felt this way? And as entrepreneurs and marketers, people have felt one of these 6 ways. They're generic enough and they're specific enough where I know that they're going to feel this way through surveying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I go into like the real problem in marketing. Then I talk about like, how do you actually grow a business? And then I talk about, well, the formula that everyone says is traffic and conversions equals success. But how much should you focus on traffics or conversions, right? It goes into like what's first, the chicken or the egg problem, right? And then when you think about it, right, that's what I say right here. The real problem is the chicken or the egg. Then I get into, once you learn the formula, you'll be able to do, get more traffic sales. Then I go into who I am. And then from there, it wasn't always this way, right? Because I talked about successful. Then I talked about how I didn't grow up with everything. If you look at that picture of me and a baby, I'm wearing my sister's clothes, right? Like these little frizzles and stuff. But, I was still happy. We didn't have all the money, but yeah, we still survived. Then I go into testimonials, right? And then I go into, so would you like to learn, like, for example, when I go into testimonials, everything's a smooth transition. I then go into like, would you like to learn how I grew Gawker or Tim Sykes extra, visitors? So then I go into vital transformations, and then it's just tips. So like tip number 1, think like a detective. And then I just go over marketing tips, right? I'm going through these slides fast.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many of them.
So you give them all these tips, and then what is the close? Like, where do you?
Well, so there's a few transitions. So then I go through all the tips. All right. So here it is. So here's the part that's really interesting. So once I go out to all the tips, I'm like, now that you learned how to get traffic, sounds great, right? And then I go and tell them, like, here's one of my startups, Kissmetrics. And then I look at our traffic stats, SEM rush estimation. Then I look at Mixpanel, right? They have a lot less traffic, roughly by half. And then I'm like, Mixpanel raised money at an $865 million valuation. We had double the traffic. What do you think our valuation was, right? And people think it would be high. And then I go into our valuation wasn't even 1/10 of theirs. And I'm like, it was that moment in life, being known as a traffic guy, that I realized that, hey, it's not just about traffic. Conversions are more important. The real formula is traffic plus conversions cubed equals success, in which you need to focus more on conversions. And then I go into a lot of conversion tactics, right? Mm-hmm. I'll even walk you through the sell. This shit works so well. And then I get into more tips. All right, so I think I'm almost out of the tips. I got another group of tips. It's just like good presentation information, right? Let's change stat data that they can copy and stuff like that. So then I go into number 7. There's themes like think like a circus trainer, think like a monk, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. One of them, the last one, is think like a winner. So then I go into what do all these winners have in common? Michael Phelps, Mark Zuckerberg, Michael Jordan.
Bless you.
Thank you. And the one thing that most people don't realize is they all have mentors and trainers, right? So coach.
So now you're selling them coaching.
So then I go into like, would you climb Mount Everest, and fly over Nepal with no training and without a Sherpa? Of course you wouldn't. You would probably die, right? And then I go into like how I spend money on mentorships. A lot of people do, right? And then I go into here's the people I mentored and the results. And then I go into the reality is, it's like can't cover everything on this webinar. Would you like to learn more? And then I go into you have 2 options, and then I go into a program, right? You can try to figure out things on your own in life like I did. Spent 10 years. It wasn't until I was like 21, 23, so till I started taking a salary. So then I was just making money from 16 to 23, but not seeing any of it in my own bank account. And then I went into, the option 2 is the mentorship and the training, and then I go into the pitch.
Yeah. And so, the last 50 slides are really the pitch.
Yeah, because
you're spending about a third of it pitching and 2/3 giving content.
Yeah, because what I talk about is what you're going to get, and then I go into bonuses if it's not for you, the pricing options, the value for a lot of these things, and then I go into like you can see how it's a good deal. I'm only going to charge $9.97. Here's what you have to do next, click the get started button, and then I go into like more mentorship and more bonuses, and I break down what some people who are members are actually getting and show like live examples of the Facebook group and weekly coaching calls, etc.
Yeah. So your goal right now is just to get traffic to neilpatel.com any way you possibly can because you got the funnel dialed in. Is that the deal?
Well, it's not even that. I don't even care to sell mentorship type of products. I'll eventually stop. People love it though. And our philosophy is like, if someone's not happy, no matter when, we just refund them. Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
we've had people like 6 months in being like, I need the money again. I'm struggling to pay my bills. I'm like, here you go. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I don't want people like that signing up if you're struggling for bills, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
see. So, all right. So this is my traffic over the last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad on my personal blog. 828,000 unique visitors.
Yeah.
It's growing fast. Like, look at December. 560,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at November. 477, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy, and people don't realize, I get so much traffic from Facebook. I spend so much money on acquiring fans. It's ridiculous. Let's do referrals. So check this out. All right. I probably derailed your interview. My bad.
No, not at all. I'm glad it's derailed. What I had planned was way more boring.
All right. So check out, I think it was September. I wasn't buying many fans in September. So check this out. Facebook had 47,000 visitors in September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at October. Bit more, 55. Right, all Facebook, as you can see variations of facebook.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is just from the fan page. Facebook ads don't get classified as facebook.com. We use tracking variables and stuff for that. Here's 127. I started buying fans to my fan page
Mm-hmm.
in quantity. December. Keep in mind, Christmas, right? 222.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
And
bad.
when you say you're buying fans, you're buying advertising to like get them to follow you, to be a part of your group. Is it what's the?
Yeah, 280. No, here's what I'm buying fan.
You're coming down with a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting over one.
I'm like, I canceled the interview on you twice. I'm like, I can't keep canceling.
It's all good, man.
So check this out. So I have 860,000 fans. I keep getting new messages, and people respond every day for me because I can't keep up with it, right? There's hundreds of messages a day that go through there. So most people can't see this because it's posted in different languages. So this one is for Spanish only. So Grant, he handles LATAM, which is Latin America, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is Portuguese, Brazil. So they just got recently posted, but they'll get more likes over time. So like here's one I posted earlier this morning, 1 hour ago. 712 likes.
Yeah. Now, when you say you're buying those likes, though, you're boosting that post or what?
No. Look, you see no boosted?
Yeah.
I'm clicking the boost button, but I'm not going to go through with that. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
pay. I hate boosting posts. I think it's a waste. I do ads to get more fans to the fan page.
I gotcha.
Like, I think of it as a well. Why would you spend money to boost something? And then once you're done boosting, it's like, oh, you got to keep spending money to boost it again, right? Like, I hate that. I'd rather pay for page likes.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. So are you doing like, do you break down what the cost of getting the like or getting them to neilpatel.com based, versus what you're making when they go through your webinar flow? Like, do you break it down to that detail or?
No, I don't care.
Yeah. You just know it's positive.
No. Like, the Facebook fan likes aren't positive. I just don't care.
So why are you doing it then? Why would you go upside down and not care? You just have a bigger play in mind or what?
Yeah, I have a bigger play in mind.
Well, what's that?
I'll explain in a bit. So let's go to I have different page like campaigns. I first started off with I'm kind of big deals using page likes under there, and then now all page likes under this campaign. So it's not a full representation of what I did because I haven't set up this ad account for a long time. But I will give you an overview of lifetime on this. It wasn't too long. This one's only been running for I think a few months. I could be wrong, but and it all changes because I keep going through different account managers. So this one started at November 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So all campaigns. If you look at page likes just on this campaign or this ad group, results. I spent $214,000
It's a good chunk of change.
for 479,000 page likes.
So you think that likes are that valuable?
Yes. Okay, so here's
Why are you so bullish on likes? That's what I'm trying to get to. Is like what's your plan here?
Okay, so two things. In 2017, Facebook, they say will have too many more advertisers looking for inventory than the inventory they have. So costs will start going up a lot. All right, that's one. Two, I'm not just trying to do page likes for the US. If you can see different campaigns, this is US, Great Britain, Australia, Canada. That's New English, UK, Canada, Australia. This is email lists. This is, right, Bill, he tried running paid ads. This is India, Brazil too, Spanish. Spanish is all Latin America countries, including Spain. New English, Phil. India likes, New Brazil likes. It's different campaigns because sometimes new managers come in and they put new in front of them, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just keeps going, right? Like just testing different regions and stuff like that. Brazil doesn't have barely any money. Would you agree with that compared to the US or Great Britain or Canada?
Sure. Yeah.
Same with like Mexico and a lot of these other regions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's one of the richest people in the world who's in Mexico? That Carlos Slim guy or whatever his name is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who owns Burger King? A Brazilian company, right? Private equity fund out of Brazil. The point I'm trying to make is there's a shit ton of money overseas and no competition. I'm already one of the biggest marketers in Brazil right now. I will be one of the biggest marketers in all of Latin America, Spain and Latin America soon enough because Spanish speaking, right? Brazil is Portuguese. I'm also targeting Germany. Then I'll go into France this year, Italy, all the Arabic nations, all right? Think about how much money Qatar has or companies in Dubai have. You think they buy all these Ferraris and stuff and they can't spend money to grow these business ideas and ventures? Mm-hmm. I believe one deal is all it takes to make back all your expenses.
And so you're casting such a wide net, one deal is inevitable.
That's correct. And I've already gotten one deal that made up all of this plus more.
Yeah.
Right? In the US at least. I had a multi-million-dollar deal with one person who just wanted me to help fine-tune a lot of their businesses. I spent maybe 100 hours and I got paid well into the seven figures for 100 hours.
So let me ask you this then. You know, the whole equation, customer acquisition cost versus lifetime value, it's what everybody's running around worried about. And you're thinking about it qualitatively just different, right? You're not so stuck in the dollar in, dollar out. You're thinking about much bigger plays, and it seems to work.
Well, think of it this way. If you were to get a credit card, what credit card would you sign up for right now? Just pick one brand. What would you pick?
Well, I'd pick Capital One because of brand awareness, and that's your point.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't want to say that. Okay. If you want shoes, what kind of shoes would you buy if you're trying to run or go to the gym?
Nikes, because I'm a sneakerhead, and because of brand awareness.
Would you Google which shoes are the best for the gym, or would you just get a Nike shoe?
I'd buy Nike shoes.
All right. People in marketing think of it this way, like, oh, Neil Patel, let's Google and find him, and he ranks for keywords. Yeah, that's all cool and fine and dandy. Big companies don't do it that way. They're like, oh, he's on Forbes. Oh, we see him on TV. Oh, we see him in magazines. Oh, we see him like ads everywhere. Mm-hmm. This guy's the biggest guy in the space. Let's just work with him. That's how it works. Yep. All right, so check this out. Gary Vaynerchuk's agency, VaynerMedia, and I don't really do consulting, but VaynerMedia, they say is what, like around $100 million in revenue, maybe more, maybe a bit less, but it's large enough, right? Mm-hmm. So what does VaynerMedia do? What kind of marketing do they do?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Okay, they do social media marketing, right?
Yeah.
Facebook, etc. So let's Google social media marketing.
I'm sure they don't come up, and yet they're still the ones being hired because of brand awareness.
That's correct. You got it right.
Yeah.
Like VaynerMedia isn't anywhere to be found. All
Yeah.
right.
People are searching for VaynerMedia, and that's why you're stuck on the brand queries. That's your insight, isn't it?
Yes, because Gary Vaynerchuk blew up through branding, but he does it specifically for US. My net is a bit wider.
Yeah.
And I sell software, so it's a bit different, but still, like, and I'm doing the info products to help recuperate a lot of my costs.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go to Ahrefs, which gives me intelligence on the website, so that's VaynerMedia's site, they'll tell me their estimated traffic, right? Like from Google and all those places. You don't really see them doing pay-per-click ads. You don't really see them doing ranking on Google, right? Gary himself has a huge social media presence. Let's look at his chart. No paid keywords. Estimated 6,300 visitors a month from Google. Right? It's like it's barely getting any traffic. Look how many referring domain names he has. 444.
People that want him, know him, go to him, and pay him. It's not about a whole bunch of people with a customer acquisition cost and an LTV. It's about his brand.
Yeah, now let's look at Gary Vaynerchuk. Maybe it's his personal brand that is getting all the traffic from Google, right? Not that many visitors. No. 34,000 visitors. Gary doesn't get a ton of traffic, right? Here's mine. He's at 34,000. I'm at 166 according to Ahrefs, right? It's not Ahrefs is always lower than Google Analytics. You guys saw my Google Analytics, but think of it this way: I'm leaps and bounds bigger than him, right? I'm conservatively, let's say, like 5 times bigger, roughly. Yet his agency makes more revenue than my businesses, right? And why is that? He built up a brand, right? I don't know what his profit is, but nonetheless, his company, his agency, is growing fast. And the reason it's growing fast is because he built a brand. And I learned that it's hard to build corporate brands. I really do think it's hard. It's possible, though. And I'm working on that next this year. But I'm really big right now into just building personal brand because I know I can just funnel all those people into my companies.
Why is a company brand harder, and is it more valuable if you can pull it off?
It is way more valuable because you can sell a company. No one's going to buy Neil Patel. They will buy Crazy Egg, Hello Bar, etc. So the thing I'm trying to do is build a company brand and a personal brand. The personal one I've been going with first because it's easier, and I naturally just had a personal brand. I didn't try to create one. I've just been doing it for so long. People just Google for me. And think of it this way, in which a corporate brand people can't connect with as emotionally compared to an individual brand, which is why it's harder to build.
Yeah. So, you mentioned Gary, so obviously you've, studied kind of how he did things, and, his personal brand is built through internet stuff with Wine Library and those kind of things, but also through his books. He's known as an author for a certain group with, Crush It and that kind of stuff. I noticed you just came out with a book, Hustle. I'm in Barnes & Noble. I see Neil Patel there. Is this you building a brand?
No, the book, it was a test. I don't think I'll ever do another book again.
Yeah.
Everyone builds a brand differently. Gary is a marketer, but he's getting known to be like the next version of a Tony Robbins. Whether he likes it or not, people see him as an inspirational, motivational guy. I'm not saying he's not good at marketing, but a lot of his brand stuff is get shit done, hustle, make money, go do shit, stop watching Lost, etc. Right? And on the flip side, if you look at my brand, it's more, he is B2B as well, but my brand's almost pure B2B, right? He has some B2C. My brand's almost all B2B. If companies don't care to hear from me on telling them, motivating employees or etc., they want me to tell them how to grow their traffic and how to grow their conversions from a holistic marketing approach.
Yeah.
Whether I want to sell them software or not, it doesn't matter. That's what companies are hitting me up for, right? I get roughly 4,500 consulting inquiries a month. we don't really do consulting. If we create an agency, we'd probably make a shitload of money, but I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and the way I look at it is most of those leads are junk. You would have, let's say, 1 to 3% that are actually like solid companies that can pay 6 figures a year, right? Some 7 figures, whatever the numbers may be. And the way I see it is, it's really, it's like you have to find your target. I know I'm not going to be that motivational guy. It's not me. Mm-hmm. I've always been that corporate B2B guy. So why not keep leveraging that and just try to get really big corporate deals? Because that is my brand, right?
Yeah.
And Gary has done a bit of both. He's in B2B extremely well, and he's in B2C extremely well. I think that's rare.
Yeah.
And I think his personality naturally fits him to do really well with the motivation, being on stage, etc. My personality type has always done really well with informational type of presenting. Here are X tips, the growth hacking guys, online marketing guys, SEO guides, etc.
Yeah.
So you stick to what you're good at.
And so for you, the book is almost off-brand because you're not that guy trying to get people to hustle. For you, it's just an experiment. It's not something you're going to go deeper down and do more of.
Yeah, I had co-authors. We had the idea for Hustle, right? I don't want to do as much work, to be quite blunt, but I knew I could do the promotion of the book, and I wanted to see what would happen if you had a New York Times bestselling author on your bio. And I learned it doesn't do shit.
It doesn't matter. So did you think it would do anything?
I had no idea. Everyone was telling me. I spent around $550,000 of my own money to make sure it's a New York Times bestseller list. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people know that, but I don't care.
Just by buying the book yourself in bulk, or what?
Yeah, so I pitch companies like Expedia, because I had a lot of companies hit me up for marketing advice. So Expedia, Kajabi, and there's quite a few others. There's another guy named Sam Evans. People who run companies who just bought $100,000 worth of books at a time. And I stopped at 550 because I don't want to keep giving people advice. I hate consulting. Mm-hmm. And I use those book sales to make sure I hit the New York Times bestseller list.
Nice. This is like the craziest interview ever. You know that, right?
Yeah, probably.
This is so not what we planned on talking about and so much better. And the fact that you just went in really deep on some crazy heavy, marketing, business, branding knowledge. It's insane, man.
Yeah, but I run my life through spreadsheets and numbers and data like this.
Yeah.
My goal this year is to get to 2 million unique visitors a month. I'll do some of it through acquisitions. I'm buying a keyword tool right now, and then I will start buying more websites that get I don't know. My goal is to buy websites anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million because these sites don't even make 10 cents a visitor. Mm-hmm. I make way more than 50 cents a visitor. I'm probably closer to the dollar per unique visitor range, so I can arbitrage all day long.
Yeah, that's amazing. Neil, this has been incredible. I got 2 last questions for you. I end every interview by asking these 2 questions. One, right. What are you doing right after this interview, no matter how boring or amazing it is?
I have a corporate call with a company that sells software, and they're a large company. They're a multi-billion-dollar organization, bootstrapped, which is rare. And I'm just helping them with their CRO and conversions, and I use the money they give me to go buy a shitload of Facebook fans, ads, etc.
And the snake eats itself.
Yeah.
All right, last question. What's the best advice you have for any startup trying to grow?
Get creative. The shit I'm showing you right here is creativity. Mm-hmm. Most people get creative, and that's why they fail.
Neil, thanks for an incredible interview, and thanks for coming on Growth Hacker TV.
No problem. Thanks for having me.